Good morning, you four. It's Friday, we made it. Well done to you all for this week. I know it's been slightly different to normal, but I'm so proud of how hard we've all worked. Okay, so the last little bit to do with this picture is, well, I'll tell you in a second. Have a think about what we've looked at so far this week. We've looked at descriptive language. We've looked at the dragon in detail. We've used inference to look at the two characters, the two children. We've looked at the setting a little bit. And we've looked at the reason why the children have that dragon. Now today, we are going to be continuing a narrative. Okay? So I'm just going to recap the story for you. The king had known that the gift he presented to his children on their 5th birthday was dangerous. He was prepared to take the risk of letting them own a pet dragon. However, one day the twins would rule the kingdom together and they would need all the help they could get. No one could deny that a dragon was a powerful ally. Before that day, though, the children had much work to do. They had to train their dragon. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be continuing that story. We are going to become authors. And that means that everybody's story is not going to be exactly the same because it is up to you as to where the story goes. Just got a few questions that will help you with that. So almost like our plan before we start writing, really. So, is the dragon nice? Now, for me, I'm going to add some notes in. Is the dragon nice? I don't think the dragon's going to be nice. I'm putting no. It is mean, and horrible and scary. Because I quite like the idea that it could be a scary and a mean and a horrible dragon. I am going to make sure that I use my capital letters though. Okay, does it respond to the children? So does it, when the children ask it to do something, does it do something? Does it follow their instructions or does it go off and do its own thing? So as I've decided that my dragon is going to be mean and horrible and scary, I'm going to put a no or need it in red so we can see the difference. No, it scares them and tries them. And I'm going to put a note, breathes fire, because it could breathe fire at them whenever they try and teach it something or want it to do something. It could be a little bit angry, rah, and breathe fire at them. What do the children do and how do they train it? Now I quite like the fact that somebody said to me when I asked them about how they train it, they give it treats. I quite like that idea. So, give the dragon treats. How if I spelled dragon correctly, wouldn't it? Give the dragon treats so it knows when it has done something really well. And then you'd hope that it would learn and it would know that they need to do that all of the time. So the next question. What do they teach it to do? Wow, we could teach it to do all kinds of things. And as we discussed the other day, we could teach it to fly, we could teach it to fight, we could teach it to cook. We said about the barbecue, didn't we? And maybe it could roast some food, some chicken, people were saying. Fly, fight, cook, and defend. We need to teach it to defend and look after us as well. Does it go well or wrong? Now my dragon isn't a very nice dragon to start off with. So maybe at the start it doesn't go so well. But the dragon starts to learn and it becomes easier to teach. It's like when you've got dogs or cats at home, if you're teaching them not to wee everywhere, at the start it doesn't go very well, but then it gets easier and easier as they learn. How does it get fixed if it went wrong? So at the start I said it didn't go very well. So I'm just going to put water, because it sets fire to everything maybe. I'm going to put perseverance with a P, not an E. Because you have to keep going, you can't just give up because it goes wrong first time. And children have to keep going, and the dragon has to keep going as well. And what does the king think? Now, I think the king will be really proud of his children because they kept trying, they have listened, they were in danger some of the time, but actually they didn't give up on what they were doing, they kept going. Proud, and I'm going to put also cautious. Now, cautious means that he's a little bit wary, he's a little bit not scared so much, but he knows that something could go wrong at any point. So he knows that he still needs to protect his children while they are still young. Okay, so what I would like you to do, there are the questions again. I'd like you to pause the video and just make some notes, answer each of those questions. Think of it like your plan. The answers to those are going to help you with your story. So pause the video and have a go at answering those and making some notes around that. Okay, hopefully we've got some wonderful ideas that will help us with our story today. So, I can continue a narrative. Our keys to success. We've got to make sure we continue the story. We're going to use the questions and the answers that you've written as a guide to structure writing. We're going to remember to write using paragraphs and most importantly using our descriptive language because that's been our focus the last few lessons. And we're also going to write in the third person, so he and she, and the past tense because this has already happened. So let's make a start and see what we come up with. So I'll make it a little bit smaller. See, children, I'm getting so much better with this smartboard now. Okay, I'm going to start with, before that day though, the children had much work to do. They had to train their dragon. So I'm going to start a new paragraph. And I'm going to start with early the next morning and a comma. Can you remember why I need a comma? Can't even spell that. Because it is a fronted adverbial. Well done. The children leapt out of bed and raced up to the roof to begin training their very own dragon. Early the next morning, the children leapt out of bed and raced up to the roof to begin training their very own dragon. Now, continue the story. Haven't used descriptive language, so I need to go back and add some of that in. So the children, I'm going to change that to the two young children, leapt out of their comfy, with a comma, warm bed and raced up to the roof to begin training their very own, how could we describe the dragon? Very own pet dragon. Brilliant. I've now got some descriptive language in there. So now I can carry on with my next sentence. Unfortunately, with a comma again, my fronted adverbial, the monstrous dragon had other ideas. Don't think it really wants to be trained at this point, but I've got my descriptive language, I've got the word monstrous described in my dragon, so I'm okay, I can carry on. Its huge nostrils flared. Do you know what the word flared means? It means when they kind of go a bit wider, and it's like when you smell something or you're angry, they might flare out and get a bit bigger. And gigantic flames erupted from deep within its mouth. Now let's have a look back at that sentence again. Its huge nostrils, brilliant. I've got some descriptive language. Flared and gigantic flames erupted from deep within its mouth. Oh, I need something before mouth. Deep within its how could I describe the mouth? Slobbering. I like the word slobbering. Slobbering mouth. Brilliant. I've got some more adjectives. I can move on now. My last little bit. I'm going to think about the children now. Frozen in fear with my comma for my fronted adverbial. The children gave each other a knowing look. Do you know what a knowing look means? A knowing look is almost when you look at your friend or you look at your family member and you know what they're thinking. You don't have to have a conversation. You just know exactly what they're thinking by the look in their eyes. Now, sometimes you can tell what I'm thinking in class as well. If my eyebrow raises, you know that I'm maybe not very impressed with something, or if my eyes start to glisten over, you see I'm smiling deep within. But the children are giving each other a knowing look. They know what they're going to do next without having to say a word. So that is my very start to my narrative. I've continued the story. I've used the questions as a guide. So I've said about the dragon not being very nice. Haven't shown paragraphs yet, but I then write a new paragraph. I've definitely used descriptive language, and I've checked as I've gone along that I've added lots of adjectives in my work and that I haven't repeated the words I've used as well. I've used a third person, and it's definitely in the past tense. I've got my ed suffix, so I know it's in the past tense. So what I would like you to do now is I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at continuing the story. Keep referring back to these ideas to help you. All of this will help structure your writing. Even if you write one after another, it tells a story. So pause the video now and have a go at writing your narrative. Okay, brilliant. We now should have a really interesting story about children, dragon, castle and king. Love it. What I would like you to do now is to read your story out loud, either to yourself or to someone there with you. You're going to perform your story. And as you're reading it, you're going to see whether it flows. And does it follow on from the story opener and from the picture? Does your story make sense with what we've already been given about the story? And have we used our own inference skills to continue that story? And finally, are you proud? And the answer to that is yes, you should be proud. If you'd like to send the stories in, please take a photo or scan it in and send it to the Year 4 email. We'd love to have a look. Thank you so much for your hard work this week, children. We are definitely proud of you too. Bye.